Welcome to the first edition of Doodle Notes with Mr. Rao. These notes are made a little more unique. That allows you to spend some time making them your own. So feel free to doodle and create your own notes. But of course, the math is still involved here. So make sure you follow along with the math. First thing I want to point out to you is we are solving two-step equations. The two-step equations, you can see that is represented by a scale. That we need to, whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other side. We have to keep this scale balanced. So our first thing, we want to recognize our goal. Our goal is to isolate the variable. And we talked about that isolate means to get by itself. To get the variable by itself. We want to isolate the variable. That means it is on one side by itself. Only one of them. So we're going to try to do just that. So we're going to try it. All right. Here's my problem. Negative 4x plus 17 equals 1. Well, I know that to find this, I have to do kind of the opposite of the order of operations. I have to subtract 17 because I'm looking to get the x's by themselves. And when I did plus 17 minus 17, those are opposite operations, and they can cross out. Now I have negative 4x equals, well, 1 take away 17 puts me into the negative, so that's negative 16. Now we have negative 4x equals 16. Here's where, I'll draw that line there. Where we need to think about what's happening. It's negative 4 times x. So the opposite, I don't want to add 4 to both sides because that's not going to get rid of this. That's just going to, it's not going to affect like I want it to because this is negative 4 times x. So the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So I'm going to divide by a negative 4 on both sides. Okay? And when I divide by a negative 4 on both sides, I get 1x because a negative 4 divided by a negative 4 is a positive 1. And a negative divided by a negative, I'll put that off to the side because this is my doodle notes. A negative divided by a negative will be a positive, according to multiplication and division madman. And so that's going to be a positive 4. X equals positive 4. So let's take a look. First, undo the addition or subtraction. That was our first steps, to undo the addition or the subtraction. Most of the time, that will be your first step when you're solving two-step equations. Then undo the multiplication, or division. So, we take a look down here. My next equation is x over 2 minus 4 equals 8. Well, when something is on top of another, it looks like a fraction, but really what it is it's a division problem. So x divided by 2 minus 4 equals 8. So what was our first undo? Our first undo was to get rid of the addition or the subtraction. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. I want to do the opposite operation. The opposite of subtracting 4 is adding 4. So I'm going to add 4, those cross off, leaving me with x over 2 equals 12. Now, the next step. The opposite of dividing by 2, so many students try to tell me that the answer here is 6 because they divide by 2 on both sides. But that doesn't work because 6 divided by 2 is not 12. So I can always check my answers, and I really should have done that on that first one, but instead I'm going to multiply times 2 times 2. 2 times x, then divide by 2. Well, that's just x. So now I have x equals 12 divided by 2 is 24. Now let's see if that works. 24 divided by 2 minus 4. 24 divided by 2 is 12. Minus 4 does equal 8. So I checked it to make sure it works. And finally, the last thing on this slide, we want to move things away from the variable. Ladies and gentlemen, the variable will not always be on the left side. It will not always be on the right side. It will be on either side at any given time, and there'll be times that it's on both sides. But our goal is to always isolate the variable, get the variable by itself, and we do that by doing opposite operations. So take these notes, again, make them your own. Feel free to add some doodles onto them. Feel free to, excuse me, feel free to show your work, check your work, and practice it. Since our answer here was 4 plus 17, this equals negative 16 plus 17 is 1. But this is how we can solve two-step equations. Okay? Continue to practice this. If you're having trouble, feel free to ask or check out some videos. There's all kinds of videos online that help explain this in different ways. I hope this helps. Have a great day.